Harris, and I am here to make my very own beer today. In St. Louis, with the Clips of Faith tour last summer, I tasted a concoction of 3 beers that were mixed together, and the task was to figure out what 3 beers they were and what the percentages of those beers were. So process of elimination was the first leg of that task, and I wanted to look at the color of the beer, and I realized it couldn't be 1554, it couldn't be Abbey, because those are a little bit darker and the concoction was very light. So I figured that it had to be Skinny Dip, Fat Tire, and Triple. And with the percentages, it was more of a guessing game, which my partner in crime, Jonathan, helped me with. And I guessed 60% Skinny Dip, 25% Fat Tire, and then 15% Triple, and it happened to be correct. And we're actually using that percentage breakdown with the hops that I chose for the beer. So it's going to be 60% Falconer's Flight, 25% Cascades, and then 15% Sterling. So that's kind of cool that we're going to use that in the beer itself, and hopefully it will turn out and be really wonderful.
Honey malt, as we discussed for flavor, and then a little bit of caramelized malt for color to get us kind of into that color range that we talked about. And then we talked about doing dry, so we're going to go at a pretty cold mash temperature, about 63 degrees Celsius, and then we're going to mash off pretty cool again to 72. So again, we're staying pretty cool for the mash, so we'll have a nice dry beer. The hops, I put 1,000 grams of Cascades in the very beginning boil just so we don't boil over.
Yeah.
But then we did 60% Falconer's Flight, 25% Cascade, and 15% Sterling. Did we discuss them, Pamela?
Yes,
we did. Okay. Calcium will be about 100. So it should. The reason for that is just to make it physically stable, so it lasts throughout the summer. And all gypsum malt, no calcium chloride, so it should be nice dry. Gypsum marries really well with hoppy beers, hoppy ales. So that's pretty much it.
Very cool.
Cool.
Excellent.
Oh, 60 BUs calculated. We'll see how it turns out.
Okay. This is such a scientific process, more so than I thought it would be. It's so cool. Like, I'm baffled. This is really, really cool. Like, all the different things that have to go into just making this delicious concoction. So it's going to be an IPA. We want it to have a nice balance of citrus, floral, and also maybe some grassy notes. So we're using 3 different types of hops and some lemon peel. So it'll be a nice summer beer. This is the first beer I've ever brewed, so I get to work with the pros, which is fantastic.
So right now we're mashing in. We press play on the program, so all the grain's been blown in. We weighted all the grain for our beer. Right now the grain is being ground up in the mill, and it's being mixed with hot water, and it's going to the mash tun where it'll sit at a fairly cool temperature, so it'll have time for the enzymes to work and break down the starches into simple sugars for the yeast to eat.
What it was going to, what this process is going to be. And so it's really fun to sit down and be a real integral part of this, rather than to feel like, oh, okay, well, here's some ideas, you guys just go make a beer now. So that's been really cool, to actually, to really, truly be a part of this process.
So we'll weigh out 5,000 Cascade.
It smells so delicious in here.
In about 30 seconds, we're going to go ahead and transfer from mash to lauter and start the process of lautering, which is to separate the grain from the sweet liquid. So right now we're filling it from that vessel to this vessel, and then once we do that, then we'll strain it using this vessel. This is just a big strainer.
Okay, and so then the liquid then goes to that. next, right?
Exactly. That's doing a good shot. There's her beer being transferred to louder cook.
So this is going to be really hot?
Yep. Cheers.
Cheers.
First stage of the boil, it'll foam over more later, but it's kind of nice to get a visual picture of it now because it's you can see what's happening as the beer goes down over the steam heated cone. It's flashing into a boil foam.
You know, while I think it's really interesting to, walk on the wild side with beer and to be experimental and to have a lot of fun with it, I was really looking to merge a lot of different flavors in a balanced setting so that it can stand alone or it can go with food. But people who love beer will all like it. It won't be offensive. It won't be, too sour, too sweet. And so in terms of, that's why I chose the hop combination that I did, was to get that sort of nice herbaceous foundation with also some citrus and some floral notes so that it has that full feeling of being an IPA, but isn't, to the extreme. And it will have a really nice hoppy aroma because I think the aroma means or enhances the overall experience with the beer, but it won't be so strong on the palate. So hopefully in trying to use these different hops and in the equation that we came up with, it will have that nice balance so that people will like it. They will not just like it, they'll love it. They'll think it's delicious and they'll want to have 2 or 3 of them. I think we found our folly.
Yeah.
I think that we have found our folly with New Belgium Brewing Company and the folks here, and we will embrace that for the rest of our lives. It's been a wonderful, wonderful, amazing adventure.